Hi, this is Colin from Watch Off the Cuff. I'm going to do a battery change on this Fossil model number FS5658. Actually, this watch is still running, but a customer brought in 4 or 5 watches, and I figured, well, they were probably all done the last time, so this one's on board time. So that's what we're going to do. So let's hit the bench and get to it. All right, here we have a still running, but probably on borrowed time in terms of battery life, a Fossil FS5658. All right, so we're lucky enough here that it's got some quick release spring bars on it. So, I mean, talk about making it easy for us. Since it's so easy, we'll probably just pop the whole thing off and away we go. Now, as you can see, it's got 6 notches here. I got a couple of options. I could use a jacksaw wrench or whatever, but I'm going to go to the Reattach Professional maxi press, and we'll open it on that. So before we skip over there, I'm just going to grab the holder for it. You can see it's here. So we're going to put this into the case holder, and that's going to go over to the press, and we're going to open it up. Okay, maxi press, here we are. So we're going to pop that in there. I'm going to use different glasses, and we're going to line up these notches. There we go, and we can just gently open that up just like that. So now that was, well, not very exciting. Let's go back to the bench. We'll finish this thing up. All right, here we are back again. Pop this thing open to see what we got. In this case, I'm just going to leave it in the holder. Okay, so let's take a look here. So we can see we've got this retainer ring here. Sometimes this one is just a push in. If it is a screw down crown and it has a retainer like this, sometimes the movement can kind of be under a little bit of pressure, which is why I just checked to make sure whether it was a screw down crown or not. But otherwise, what I like to do is I like to just hold the movement somewhere safe like this. And it's got these nice notches. I'm just going to use this piece of pegwood there to hold it down like this. Maybe try to keep my hands out of the way a little bit. And then we've got the notches around here. And then we can gently pull up here and see if we can't get the case retainer out and away from the movement without dislodging anything. I always tell people, just be patient. Like, it's not, there's no rush. Thought it was very nice. Somebody on one of the videos said that I had a Bob Ross vibe. So whoever said that, thank you very much. I think that's a compliment. That's really good, isn't it? There we are. So movement retainer out. Set that aside. And we'll take a look here. So there's a little button right there that we just move out of the way to get it out. And oh, I got my wrong glasses on, so I'm going to grab those with the loop. And we can grab this guy. Again, I'm just going to hold the movement still. Get that out there. And we've got an SR626SW and the SR626, where I got my little cheat sheet just off the thing. SR is a 377. It's very common watch battery. So we'll get one of those out. That can go over there. We want to mix them up. And we can place this thing. These are ESD, electrostatic discharge rated tweezers. A little bit overkill, but anyway, so we're going to get it in there. And then what we need to do is we need to pull back that little button. I'm going to hold back this lever like this, and then down it goes. You're just going to make sure you do everything with like ease and control. The thing that's not great about where these little buttons are is if you were to take something sharp and you were to slip and you touch that coil, you're going to damage that coil and that watch is not going to run. So it's just very important with those to just be careful. Some of these, and I checked it right away, some of these have got a shoulder where this actually secures it and it doesn't move at all. And some of it is, it doesn't matter how tight you do it, there's a shoulder on it where it doesn't actually tighten anyway to hold that in place. But it's spring, like, under spring tension, so it should be just fine the way it is there. So there's a little index mark at the back of this movement holder here that fits into the case, so you get sort of an alignment. And again, you just want to go and just, it was a little finicky getting it out, but we're just going to go through and just make sure it's seated all the way around. Take your time and just make sure everything's good. If it's not aligned, the problem is once we screw down this case, it's going to push itself in there. And you could have a couple of issues where, number one, it might push against the dial underneath and separate the movement from the dial, which will give you clearance problems with the hands and the dial. You could distort things. Quartz movements are very delicate. All of a sudden it could jam. So you just need to be just careful and patient. Anyway, I've said patient a whole bunch, probably more than I need to. So what we're going to do before we close this thing back up is I'm just going to grab this gasket and we're going to put it in this Lubra box. This has got silicone 7 in it. Give it a little turn there. Then we can put this back. Make sure that it is seated correctly back down there. Great. I'm just going to double check again. This is really clean, so we can put that right back on there. Sometimes you get oil and dirt that gets in there and you have to clean it out. So we'll just gently make sure it's things. Again, be patient. If it doesn't seem to be seating properly, it could be cross-threaded. So just back it off and then try again. I've had situations, things I thought were so easy and they would give me a hard time. And the best thing I did was just walk away and come back an hour later. And then the first try, like it was completely fine. So anyway, so now this can go back to the press so we can tighten this up. Let's go. All right, back again. So we'll do the old glasses switch. I have a new set of glasses I should be using. I'm just being dumb and lazy. Anyway, you know how it is. Your prescription changes over time, and I basically had to do a complete revamp on everything. There. Now, the danger with this is a great tool. The danger is that you can over tighten these. So it needs to be snug. Do not go crazy. It's been such a problem that, for example, Bergeon's version of this tool, they have a torque limiting device on it. So you can torque it and you're not over torquing it. So, it's a prevalent enough problem that someone's created a very costly solution. But the other thing too is you crank this on too hard, someone with a Jaxa wrench won't be able to get it off with a hand tool after that. So, I'm friendly with other people and repairs in the community. And once in a while, if someone doesn't have a machine like this, they'll send it to me. And I've had people think, oh, it's cross-thread or it's broken. I'm like, no, somebody just went really crazy with a professional press like this. We have a lot of leverage here and torqued it way, way, way too tight. There was one that I did where I thought I was going to break it. Like it was on so tight, even for this, I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. But anyway, so not too tight on this thing. All right, let's put the bracelet back on and we're done on this one too. All right, back again. So we can take this guy out. We only had the battery out for all of 30 seconds or so. It's still telling the correct time. We don't have to worry about that. So we'll flip this over. We just have to remember that when we put this back on, when it's worn, the clasp as Fossil is going to be facing the user. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure it turns like this. We're going to imagine it on our wrist. And that's exactly the wrong way. So we're going to do it like this. There we go. Okay, so we're going to flip this over. And you got these super handy dandy quick connects. Push it in there. Do the same on the other side. And these are easy. I was talking to someone not that long ago, and they had trouble with one of the spring bars was bent. It was a standard spring bar, and it was bent, and it was like the other one was half broken. They had to pick it out. And sometimes it's funny. You think the hardest part of the repair is going to do the repair, and sometimes instead it's like trying to get the corroded spring bars or bent spring bars out of it. Anyway, always an adventure. I suppose that's part of the fun. Anyway, so this Fossil FS5658 is ready to go for another, I think probably the spec will probably be 2.5 years for a battery on that. And yep, we're all set. All right, it concludes the battery change on this Fossil watch. We ended up using, I think I talked about this block. I ended up using this Lubra box with silicone 7 to relubricate the back gasket. I ended up using a pair of brass tweezers to pull out the gasket. I ended up using the polyamide probe 7010 from Bergeon to hold the movement down. I used some generic, I think this is a 6mm pegwood that I used as just another set of hands to like hold things down. Finger cots in the fingers. We ended up using the professional press from Hortec to open and close it. I think that's it. People have expressed interest on the few previous videos I did where I just ran quickly through what equipment I use so they could identify or find it or know what the name was. Most of the stuff is available for sale on my site at watchoffthecuff.com. I ended up saying off camera that I checked a little chart. If you would consider being a member of the channel, there's some free resources available through watchoffthecuff.com that you get access to if you're a member of the YouTube channel. One of them being a crossover chart for batteries. So if you, for example, see, I think it was the SR626SW, and you get a sheet and it shows you what crosses to a 377, has a bunch of cross reference. And if you were thinking of like having a battery repair business or like battery repair, like a replacement business or whatever, or getting into it from the commercial side, it gives you a list of like the recommended or very common batteries to stock, with quantities and stuff to get you started. Also, as a member, you get a comprehensive chart for capacitors. So, for example, it gives you the reference for Citizen, Omega, Seiko, Myota. I think that's most of them. I said Citizen. Anyway, basically, as many as I've been able to come around, and I modify and update this list. I think it's hundreds of references. So if you open up a Citizen Eco Drive, then you need to find out what capacitors in there. You get a free chart. So consider becoming a member if you're interested in that. Those become free downloads for you from the website. As always, thanks for watching. Cheers.